Everything's been resolved literally last second. So I see that a few people are watching online, a few people are right here in the virtual room. We're going to start with a review of the rules, and then we'll do the introductions, and then we will give our presenter the chance to talk. So the way it works is we will start with a short introduction. Isabel will talk about her company, about the XCulture challenge, maybe a little bit about herself. Then if you have any questions, in fact from the very first minute, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. And there are three ways you can ask your questions. You can either type them in comments on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube, in Google Hangout if you're watching in Google Hangout, or better yet, join us live. So just use that link that I sent you a few minutes ago and literally join us live, switch on your video and audio, and ask your question so we can see and hear you. Other than that, while the session is in progress, it would help if you mute your microphones unless you're speaking. So this way it will be better, easier to hear the presenter. And I guess other than that, any other rules? No, probably not. So here on this end, we have me, I'm Beth Terrace, and we have Maria Gill. She's an administrative assistant. We are the people who bug you with all those emails and reminders and administrative issues. On the other hand, we have System in Motion, the company from Shanghai in China, and one of the senior managers from the company, Isabel. And I will let her do the introductions. So I'm going to switch my microphone off now, and Isabel, it's all yours now.
Okay. So should I present the shortly?
Oh, you can start now. Yeah. So that's all yours. You can start with the presentation right now.
All right. Okay, so System in Motion is actually is born in China. It was created by two French guys, Stéphane Monsalier and Denis Gian, and it was created 10 years ago. It's an IT service company. It's part actually of now a sort of group. There are actually 4 companies in the group, 2 companies in Shanghai, operational companies, a holding company in Hong Kong, and a sister company in France. So basically, System in Motion provides customers with enterprise solutions such as ERP, CRM, BI solutions for these companies to actually perform their activities. So it's all that is needed as solutions for a company to really be able to perform. So now System in Motion has 80 employees, 3 business units, 1 business unit dedicated to ERP, 1 business unit dedicated to all things around the web, including some solutions such as CRM, but it's also e-commerce, websites, everything you can imagine around the web, and a 3rd business unit which is more custom software and more oriented towards banking and insurance activities, clients. So today, after 10 years, we have clients all around the world, a lot in Asia, but we also have clients in Europe and in the US. So we provide offshore services. And the situation today is as follows. It is getting more and more difficult to get resources in China. To get employees in China is getting really difficult in the IT sector because because actually they are very, very solicited. So the employer is not in power. The employees are. They can choose, and they often choose who pays more. The second thing is that I would say during the last year, in a 5 year span, salaries have had more than a 50% increase. So it's getting more difficult to get good resources, and they cost more and more. So we are actually looking at alternate ways of developing, and actually to look into neighbor countries that might be a good way to go to have a sort of second, I would say, development platform. But such platform would also be a way to develop even more our business in Asia. Why we are trying to find the best country where to set up operations, and to know how to try to know how to set them up in the best way, get resources and new clientele. From a personal point of view, if you want to know who I am, so my name is Isabelle. I joined System in Motion 4 years ago. I've been actually in China for now 8 years, and I started my career as an attorney in Europe, and I was who sent me here to be their general counsel and also their CCO, and I left them for join System in Motion and to become System in Motion COO and General Counsel. That's it.
I'm sorry. Lots of questions.
Do you have any questions?
If I can. So one, can you tell us a little bit more about the company in terms of its size and age? Can you hear me? So how old is the company, and how big is it?
Sorry?
You couldn't hear me? Hello?
It's very robotic.
So could you
I can hear you, but it's very difficult to understand, actually.
Oh, we can hear. Just let me call you on the phone and ask you the questions, because we can hear you very well here in the system. So the sound, my sound is not coming through? All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this one. So first question, could you clarify the age and the size of the company? How big are you and how old are you?
We are, I would say, we are sort of a big startup. So we are 80, the headcount is 80. And actually all employees are in China. So it's other companies are more relay companies.
And then if I may, I have a lot more questions about the company, but a few questions about China. One, you said that the wages in China have gone about 50% up in the last years. Would it be possible to tell roughly how much IT specialists are making in China? What is the average kind of level of pay in the IT industry in China?
Okay. Oh, so you want more specifics on the salaries. To give you an example, I can give you a few examples of for the employees that we have. I will give them in CNY. Starting salary for juniors now for junior developers are around the best you can get. That means the lowest salary now are 6,500. for a junior out of
That's
just starting his career.
dollars per month, per year. What is it?
No, it's CNY. It's renminbi.
So
So
how
it's
much would it be in dollars then, roughly?
the equivalent. Let me do this.
It's about what, 8 to 1, right? So it's about $800 or something like that.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that's actually quite high. So, and that's in Shanghai. Is it different in other cities?
It is and it is not because actually the IT industry in the IT industry the resources are very quoted. So it doesn't really matter where they are. The average for the country is going to be the same wherever they are.
Hmm. Now, another question about the company. Can you give us some more examples of your projects, things that you work on? As I understand, you work on some serious IT solutions, not just website development. You do much more serious work, right? Can you give a couple of examples of what projects you normally work on, or just, so we get a better sense of your service line or product line?
All right. So it's mostly solution based. Okay. So it's going to be, for example, a company looking for an ERP to manage their products, their product lines, their invoices, their orders, their logistics, their manufacturing, their everything that is that they need to actually manage their activities. It's going to be, for example, you're going to have also some companies who want to sell online. So it's going to be an e-commerce solution, and it's going to be linked with a lot of I would say selling platforms. The equivalent would be, I don't think that eBay would be the best example, but yeah, it's not so far. But you will have they will be connected to Alibaba, Tmall, etc., to sell actually their products. You will have banks and financial institutions who want actually a platform to manage their products. For example, in life insurance policies, to manage their clients and the policies that they sell. It's all that kind of things. And you also have clients who want to be able to manage their sales and their sales activity, and we'll go for a CRM to be able to manage all their sales activity, and also to get analytics and to know where they are, where they want to go. It's basically all solutions that enable a company to manage their activity and to grow.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So we have clients. We have a lot of clients in retail, fashion, garments. We have clients also in I would say food and beverage, so distribution. I'm pretty sure you know I'm pretty sure you know Pernod Ricard, for example.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right. Another question that I would like to ask, and hopefully it's not inappropriate, about you personally. So, did you choose to go to China? I mean, how did you end up in China? I mean, that's quite an interesting story. Can you tell us more?
Okay. Okay. So I was working as an attorney in France, and even though I had always worked on an international level, I had never been working abroad. And so I was looking for a foreign experience, and I was talking to some clients and telling them that, well, in any case, I was going to be going soon. And one of them asked me, "What do you think of China?" And that's how I ended up in China. So I was recruited by a client who sent me to China.
So now you said there 4 years, right? Or 8 years, 4 years with the company and 8 years in China total. Can you share with us some of the challenges or maybe benefits of living in China? Is it difficult? Was it hard to adapt? Did you have to learn the language? What are the easiest things that you had to deal with, or some hard things maybe that you encountered? So what is it like to live in China?
The hardest, okay. The perks of living in China and working in China, is that there is never a dull moment. Uh, it's also that even if you consider that you have a lot of imagination, your imagination cannot match the kind of situation you will have to deal with it. It's just unbelievable. The other good things is that there's a very very, I would say, how can I say that? Uh, in 1 year, you're going to learn what you cannot learn in anywhere else in 5.
All right.
So it's
Would you like to
basically,
ask a question? So there is another question.
Yeah, I have a question. I was wondering, what are your company needs right now? I mean, in terms of, you're talking about labor and that you need more
yes.
people working. So what are they like? What are the people, the profiles of the people you're looking for? So are they more programmers? Are there salespeople, operations?
It's programmers.
Oh, programmers.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
So
developers.
So how do
It's
you currently hire? What is
engineers.
your strategy now? I mean, where do people come from? How do you find them currently under the current system?
How do we find people? They actually we hunt them. You cannot wait for them to come to you. It just doesn't work like this. So you're in a position where you constantly hunt people. So that means it's active search through some I would say recruiting platform, the equivalent of Monster, for example.
Hmm.
Have two of these platforms that we use. We also are very very active with universities, training centers. Actually, we have to sell ourselves.
Hmm. Are there many
So,
competitors? I mean, are there many other companies in
oh
the
yeah,
industry that are
yeah.
stealing your talent?
Yes, absolutely, and I can tell you that well, the recruitment is this. When I can, for example, when we have someone coming in, we consider ourselves lucky, because a lot of times we will have candidates that we like. We make a proposal, they accept, and 2 days before joining, they tell us that they have found something that is better and better paid, and they don't come. And I'm against Microsoft. I'm against Disney. I'm against all these kind of companies, and very frankly, I never win.
Huh, that is interesting. Yeah.
Do they need to be in China? You mentioned that the 80 people that are with a company are in China. Do you need them to be in China, or can they be
No,
anywhere? Do they need to be on a
no,
specific
don't need them
time
to be in
schedule?
China. don't want them to be in China. That's why we are actually exploring other options.
So what would be your ideal scenario then? How would you envision it? How would it work? So you mentioned that you're exploring possibilities of hiring people in Taiwan, Thailand, I believe you said. So
not Taiwan. No, Taiwan, not Taiwan. Actually, we are exploring actually 5 different countries,
uh-huh.
Which would be possible. So Vietnam, Philippines, Thailand, Myanmar, and the fifth one is, I think, Sri Lanka.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any preferences at this time as to the entry mode? Are you planning just to hire people in those countries and bring them to Shanghai? Or are you open to some sort of a subsidiary or like a remote call center or something like that?
That's what we need to know. What is the best option? What is the best country? And where it is, where market entry is going to be the easiest, where resources are known to be good, where they are going to be the cheapest, and where we can actually also find clients.
Yeah. So. Would language be an issue? You are there in Asia, you know better. So are you using English as the working language at the company? Would the employees have to be able to speak English, or?
Yes. Yeah. It's absolutely necessary. So in any case, that's going to be also a very big factor. We know that, for example, Sri Lanka they took English. Vietnam, they took very good English.
Right.
Thailand, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And Myanmar is well, it's a developing country. I have no idea if they have good engineers, and I have no idea if they actually have the language skills.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Would you say that nowadays the language spoken is Chinese, or is it English in the company?
You mean in the office?
I mean, yeah, among the employees right now, it's more Chinese than English, or it's 50-50? What's the percentage?
But considering that in any case we work for MNCs, and a lot of our clients are actually foreign invested companies, we need them to be able to talk, to read in English. Because in any case they are going to have foreign interface. They need to be able to read the specifications, to understand the business constraints of our clients. So it's an absolute necessity.
Well, this is very interesting. I mean, I honestly couldn't envision that English would be so important in China. So that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense, I guess, now that I thought about that. But initially, I didn't think that would be one of the major kind of requirements. Another question, how do you currently advertise in terms of your services? So how do you find your clients? How do they find you, I guess?
There's a lot of networking. So it's basically, I'm sure you've heard the word guanxi. So it's very true. So it's basically through network and networking, a lot of word of mouth, introductions. We are very active in with also the foreign chambers. We do a lot of presentations on subjects, that kind of thing. We do some actually professional fairs. For example, as I was saying, you have quite a few clients in retail. So if there is a trade show on retail, we are going to be there.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned the concept of guanxi, and I personally know a lot about it. I read a lot of it, but I'm sure some of the people who are watching us, they don't know what guanxi is. Can you explain that?
Okay. Guanxi. Guanxi, it's well, it's the equivalent. It's the equivalent of a sort of social network, but it's actually the professional network, and it has also a sort of friendship connotation, but the Chinese way of seeing friendship. To do business in China, you have to be friends. So that means that you have to build a sort of a relationship, and then you have to get to know each other, and then to actually really declare that you are friends and that you are going to do a lot of things together and become rich together. So that's the kind of thing. So you, in any case, you cannot survive in China if you don't build that kind of network.
So how do you develop or build that Guanxi? Do you just approach someone with a gift, or how does it normally, how do you go
No,
about it?
actually, it's much more easy. It's much more easy. We come from a culture where if you say hi to someone in the street or you smile at them, they're just looking at you as if you were crazy. That's exactly the contrary here. To smile to someone, to introduce yourself, to start talking, chit-chatting, and to ask them about their activity, even their family. It's a very different way of interacting.
Now, a few more questions about the company itself. What is your current ownership structure? Is it a private company, or are you public? And if it's private, is it like a single person who's in charge, or what's the
Yeah,
format?
it's absolutely completely private, and it's 100% owned by the shareholders. So today there is we have the two companies in Shanghai. There is what is called WOFI, so it's a foreign invested company, and in this company the shareholders are Stéphane and Denis. There is a sister company which is completely 100% Chinese company, and it's owned by the Chinese family of Stéphane. The holding in Hong Kong, who actually owns the has shares into China, has now four shareholders. That's Stéphane, Denis, Mountain Song, who is the ERP business unit manager, and me.
So the company owners actually work for the company as well, right? Or they just collect the profits, or are they also employees?
No, it's actually, yeah, it's they work for the company. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, also a kind of complicated question, and I'm sure you will not be allowed to give us the specific numbers, but can you tell us a little bit more about the structure of your cost and revenue? So what does it, what are your main expenses to run a company like that? Is it all salary, or is it something else? And then where does your money primarily come from? Is it, again,
salary? Actually, the two main costs are salary and rent. So it's not even computers, equipment, it's salary and rent. Salaries constitute 87% of our cost.
Wow, okay, so that's pretty much all people, right?
Yeah, it is people. Yeah.
And how expensive is renting space in Shanghai, like renting an office? Is it a very expensive proposition, or you can find a relatively cheap place?
Well, it's going to sound cheap for probably for you, and especially if you're in New York. But but Shanghai is becoming in any case very, very, very expensive. The rent that we are paying right now I have no idea how in square meters. We have 400 square meters, and the rent is 60,000 RMB a month. So that would
so that's like $8. Whoa, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Actually, even by American standards, that's a lot. I'm not sure what it costs in Manhattan. I'm sure it would be more expensive, but if you go just to another
Mhm.
major city, it's still quite expensive compared to that.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you
Well,
considered moving to
you
a
know,
smaller town, maybe somewhere like deeper, like away from Shanghai, or do you have to be
no,
in a
it
major
would be
city?
no, and for a very simple reason, because it would be so disruptive. It would be so disruptive because, um, um, for example, we moved offices 7 months ago, and we made sure that the offices that we took were not more than 200 meters from the former offices, for a very simple reason. Shanghai is a very, very big city. If you move even 1 kilometer, you're going to lose 50% of your staff.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that.
And if we move to another town, that means that we just wipe our staff and we hire new people. That's it. We
Wow, I
You
didn't know
can't move staff to another place. They're not going to come. That's it.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Is it expensive to live in Shanghai? Like for you personally, like an apartment or something? Is it an expensive city?
The apartment, yes. The rest is still okay, but it's just okay. To give you an example, my first rent here was same surface. My first rent here was something like 4,000, and 8 years later, I'm paying 10,000
Per month for an apartment?
per month. Yes.
Whoa, that's what, like a thousand, like close to 15 to $2,000 per month. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
quite expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess
It's,
it's a major business
well,
center, probably the
no, but
biggest center in
Asia,
Asia.
yeah, but yeah, actually, the fact that China is cheap is kind of a myth. myth. Uh, Hong Kong is horrendously expensive. Singapore is very, very expensive too.
Yeah.
You still have some places like Ho Chi Minh or uh, that are still cheap. But you go to Malaysia, you go to Singapore, you go to even Bangkok. Prices are not actually that cheap.
Huh, very interesting. Now, Becky, Mamanda, I'm not sure if you guys wanted to ask any questions because we have a lot of questions and we can ask them all day. But if you wanted to chime in and maybe ask some of your questions, feel free to do so.
Ladies first.
Amanda, would you like to ask a question? Becky, I guess you can go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I was waiting for Amanda to give her the first time as a lady, but I'm continuing.
You go ahead.
It's good to be here and hear about your company. And I have already 3 questions so far. And the first one, as you mentioned, that you are spread in 4 mainly sites. How do you solve the financial needs if they arise in any separate site than Shanghai? And the second one, I would like to know from you that as you experienced from both different working environments, can you please describe a little bit deeper on Shanghai working in environments and differences? And about the third one is about when you're changing the staff. Does that affect the higher level management or just the lower management of your staff?
Okay, let's go back. The first one is
So challenges of managing remote offices. So if you open offices in other countries, what challenges do you expect you will encounter?
okay. Okay. I think it's going to be, in any case, the same challenges for when you have a multi-site operation. With the added, I would say, bonus in Asia that you can you are even if you are high level management, you will have to micromanage. So that means that to have a good management of multi-site, you need someone from management and high management to be on site. So you have to actually have several higher level management for each site, because the communication is going to be actually at that level, not on the lower level. Does that answer the question?
I hope it does. So next question then, what is the working culture of Shanghai? So is it different from what you encountered in France, for example? How is it different?
It's, well, it is very, very different. Okay. Okay. There are so many things to say about that. It's really, it's going to be very, very difficult.
We have time. We have time. Please go ahead.
All right. So, in any case, interaction, even in work, is extremely, extremely different. It's if you want an answer, for example, I'll give you an example. If you want an answer, it's I will say that it's going to be the game of 20 questions. You ask a question, you're not going to get the answer, so you're going to ask a second one that is going to get you closer to what you really want to know. Okay, maybe to give you a real example. Okay, I'm sending a Chinese consultant to Turkey. I need to make sure that he's got the visa, and I'm asking HR. To deal with getting the visa. So I'm going to start with, can we get a visa for him? And the answer is going to be yes. Okay. What are the conditions? I have to check with the visa center. Okay, check. But is there, for example, do we need an invitation letter? Yes, yes. So okay, we need an invitation letter. Do we need to have a passport that is more than 6 months? Oh yes, yes, that's it. So it's going to be a game of 20 questions to really get to what I want. Is there, and you have to ask every question actually. You have to ask, is there a limit, a time limit for visas? And then you're going to have the answer. Actually, yes, they only deliver 15 days visa. Okay, so then we have a problem with the clients, etc., etc. So it's not going to be, we would say, okay, for the visa we need this, and be careful because you will only have a 15-day visa. No, you have to ask every question to have the whole thing. And you will have some other stuff. For example, okay, a funny story. Same thing. I'm sending 2 consultants on site to Indonesia, and HR organize everything, and they send through, and you're going to understand why micromanaging. So they send through everything by email to me. So hotel reservation, plane tickets reservation, etc., etc. And I just noticed, looking at all this, that the hotel price is really, really low. So it's just like, I'm just just because it really it makes a bell ring in my head, I go to HR and I say, okay, the hotel is really cheap. And they say, yes, we found a really good price. And I say, okay, can you show me actually the real the reservation, the booking? And they show me the booking, and actually the HR assistant has taken one room for 2 consultants. And it's just, and wait for it, because it comes from a different place for them. They wanted to have the company not spend money. And for me, it was telling her, you never put 2 consultants in the same room, especially when it's a guy and a girl. It didn't even compute that you don't put a guy and a girl working together as consultants in the same hotel room when they go on a mission.
Right.
So it's a very different environment. It's they don't have the same thought process, and it's not mean. It's not because they are not. I would say they are not competent. It's just that they think differently.
Yeah. Now the last question from Bakim was, is there any difference between managing or hiring people of the higher versus lower level? You said it's very hard to find programmers. Does that also apply to managers?
No, it's actually easier. It's actually easier because it's the only way for them actually to there are a lot of companies, and you know, I would say foreign companies are very good and they like working for foreign companies because they often offer much better training and much better career perspective. So that's why also they jump ship a lot to actually progress in their careers. So when we are looking for someone higher up, it's going to be actually easy. You just have to target someone who's been in the same position for a few years, and that probably knows that it's going to be very difficult for them to go higher in their company and to make a thing. So it's actually much easier if you recruit higher. Yeah.
Amanda, do you have any questions, or should I proceed with my questions?
I actually do.
Yeah, well, go ahead, please.
Okay, so I know, and everybody knows, that IT is in huge demand right now. I live with a programmer myself, so I hear it all the time of how much they need, you know, good programming. So what do you feel, competing with these larger markets and these larger companies, what do you feel puts you above, you know, for your clients? Is it better pricing, better infrastructure, you know, better services? Are you continuously changing your services to meet their needs? What exactly gives you, you know, that big head about you guys? You know, that you feel better about what you do, and you feel like you're better than they are.
Oh, you mean system in motion?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Not you personally.
Yeah. Because actually our staff. Our developers are good. We train them well. We refuse to compromise on quality. So that's a very big thing for us. The second thing is that it's that in a region where disorganization and lack of process is the rule, we have the contrary. We are very process oriented. We have very stringent management processes, project management processes. We really are very focused on this, on quality, and on actually also being very business oriented. That means that we get into our clients' activity, we know them, and we absolutely don't say, okay, let's do this. This is good for you. No, we deliver. We really deliver actually fit to need. Yes. So that makes a big difference here.
All right. A couple more questions, if I may, about the Chinese culture. One, men versus women. Would you, because as far as I understand, Chinese culture is a little kind of more men-centric, so like, men play a more important role in the society. Is it difficult as a woman to be in that business environment?
Oh, you mean in the professional environment?
Right.
Well, okay. I have to say something about that because if okay, for me, China is a paradox. It's a complete paradox, and for absolutely everything, and also for women. Actually, I think that it's one of the countries where you find the highest number for women that are business owners and managers. So it is a very macho country, and at the same time, they can really make a career, and it's actually not very difficult. And I never had the kind of really obvious, I would say, misogynistic behaviors that I was confronted to in Europe or in Western countries. Here, I never had that kind of problem. Not ever.
Well, that's good, I guess. That's encouraging. So,
yeah.
Since we are almost out of time, I would like to ask one and probably most important question. In terms of the XCulture students, so what kind of value can they deliver to you? What kind of questions would you like them to focus on? And I know it's in the challenge description, but can you summarize one more time what would be the best contribution they can make?
Okay, so actually it's among the countries that we have identified for the study, to find to identify actually, yeah, to identify the one that would be the best in terms of IT resources. It means in terms of skills and price, and in conjunction to the best as to potential business development.
Okay, so then the absolutely best outcome scenario would be for you, so a student literally develops a nice market entry plan, tells you, how much would it cost, how much would it be, or what would be the challenges of hiring people there, or would you like them to actually make an extra step and try to hire someone in that market? Or I guess I'm not sure if it would be possible to make the actual hiring, but so I'm trying to see, what's the maximum things that people can offer to you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's exactly that. For me, is there a huge engineer available pool of IT engineers? Are they considered to be good? What are the conditions, and what are the conditions to hire them? Is it easy? Do they cost a lot? That's the basic conditions, and because the rest the rest, in any case, is going to be the usual for a company. It's okay. So setting up a hiring process, not really a difficulty. It's really actually to know where the resources are and how much they cost.
Mm-hmm.
And the second is okay. Once we have that, if we consider that we want to use it not just as a sort of outsourcing platform, but also a base for another hub for business development. Is it the best country to do it? For example, we know that there are some good IT engineers in the Philippines, but the Philippines is not a very good market, I think, for business development. I'm not sure that there is a lot of possibilities in terms of business development because of the economy.
I see Saim just joined us. Saim, did you have a question that you wanted to ask, or I'm not sure if you can hear me. Someone just joined in, and I wasn't sure if that's to ask a question or something else. All right, well, I think we're pretty much out of time, so I think we're going to wrap up here. If you have any maybe concluding comments, and so I guess we will call it a day. So anything else that you wanted to mention and you didn't say, or anything else that we didn't ask and you wanted to elaborate on?
Actually, do they mind just telling me a bit more about themselves? Because actually, I don't know them.
Well, so the thing here is that we have about 3,500 students total, and as you see, only a few of them joined live. Everybody else will watch it in watch the recording later on when they have a minute. But briefly, what we have is, so we have a few thousand students. About half of them are MBA students. The other half are undergraduate students. And so most of them are in international business classes. And so the reason they participate in the project is because their professors felt it would be a good experience for them. And so what we do is we put them in global virtual teams. Usually the team is 6 to 10 people. Each person or many of the people on the team are from different countries. So each team would have people from at least 4, sometimes 5, 6, 7, or even 8 different countries. And so they would work together and deal with the challenges of language differences and time zone differences and all that kind of stuff. And so we have 10 companies. System in Motion is one of them. And so each of you has a different challenge. And so the teams then look at the challenges and see where they can help most. And so if they feel that they have something to say or something to offer, they would spend the semester working on that challenge. And then hopefully in the end we'll have some sort of a solution for you. And as you will see, some of the reports will be kind of weak. They will tell you something that you already know. But usually some, like 2 or 3 out of 10 are really, really good. And so that's where you get the real, the best value. And then in many cases, when you like some of those reports, we can actually continue working on them. So in many cases, we would take the existing teams and you would say, you know what, yeah, these 10 are bad, but this one, oh, that's really interesting. And so then we can invite that team and perhaps even strengthen them with other professors, and they can work some more and develop like a real business plan for you. And so we'll see how it goes. So the project runs in 2 tracks, the early track and the late track. Usually it's about 1,000 people in the early track and another maybe 3,000 or 2,500 in the late track. So the early track has already started, and so we have already about 800 people or so working on different challenges, including yours. And so the late track starts in October, so we have like 2-3 more weeks. And so that one is bigger. And so that's basically how it will go. And so we will have the video recording of this webinar, so that will probably answer most of the students' questions. But there is a good chance that there will be more questions, and if so, they will just email you, and hopefully you will have a minute to answer. And yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just hope that that actually our difficulties are interesting for them.
Could be. At least a few teams so far chose your company, so it tells me that they are interested enough. And you have a very peculiar kind of special product. I mean, most of them are not IT specialists, so I suspect it will be difficult for many teams to, to come up with a good solution. But then many of them may be HR majors, and then most of them are in international business courses. So I hope that they will be able to take care of that side. Maybe not so much about, the IT, but more about HR and international relations. So we'll see.
Yeah, but for me, okay. If I just have to say something about this, even if they don't really know about IT, it's actually a real business problem. It's how can you grow? How can you get good resources and continue to perform your services? That's basically that. So it's a very real thing and a very very day-to-day thing for companies.
Yeah. And I suspect the problem is the same for all industries, right? It's not unique to IT.
No, it's not unique. It's especially acute here in China for IT, but it's true for other industries too. Yeah.
Well, before we leave the session, as I said, to me, the most interesting thing of this webinar, the most interesting kind of new thing that I learned is that China has a shortage of labor. I mean, from here, everybody thinks that we outsource to China because there are lots of people, cheap, you can hire anyone for nearly nothing. And it actually turns out that it's completely different now. So that's an interesting trend. I didn't know that. So.
Yeah. And actually, what we are trying to do is something that a lot of industries and most industries do. That means that they started in China for Asia, and they are now moving. Somewhere else. So Bangladesh, it's Bangladesh. It's India. It's Thailand, it's Cambodia. They are moving because it's not possible anymore to have just their activities here, and really see it with manufacturing, production. It's really a general tendency, and for the same reason. Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, I guess the world is changing, right? So
yeah, it is.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I know that first you're busy in general, but also I know it's kind of late at night in China now. So thank you so much for staying up with us and offering your time to the XCulture crowd. As I said, probably more questions will come by email. So thank you so much, and we'll be in touch. And thank you everyone else who joined and who is watching us online live, or if you're watching it in recording, thank you for that too. All right, bye-bye then.